actors. It's Diana with Uta Hagen's A Challenge for the Actor for Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about the actor's goals. I'm sure you have all heard and been through this conversation several times. It goes something like this. Hi, what do you want to do? Hi, I want to be an actor. Oh, well, what kind of things do you like to do? Act? No, but I mean, do you want to do theater or film or commercials? What do you like to do? And you're like, today is the day where we are going to figure out what it is that we want to do. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into this question because, you know, as actors, we all go, how could we say this line? We also think of all the other possibilities that could ensue given a situation. So we think about, first of all, we think about money, you know, because essentially what we would like to do is we would like this to be a lifelong career. That's what many of us are fighting for. That's what many of us are working towards. No matter what it is that we're creating or what it is that we're doing, whatever project we're involved in, we are looking to do it for the rest of our lives. That's what we decided in Chapter 1 when we decided that we wanted to be a serious actor who was going to keep going no matter what, because that's what the theater has been doing and we are people of the theater and that is just the thing to do. So, moving on from that weird rant, we think about money, and as Uta Hagen so eloquently puts it, if you think about all of the artists in our history's time, not all of them made boatloads of money. Not all of them, you know, died being famous composers or artists or poets. You know, some of them died as paupers, you know, but they left us these amazing gifts. For example, we have Beethoven's Midnight Sonata, right? We have that, and we have Van Gogh's Starry, Starry Night, you know, little swirly things everywhere, they're so pretty. We have Aristotle that gave us his Poetics, very famous, but not quite famous himself. We've got poets, you know, from our American history that were in very crucial times in our history, and they just weren't famous. Some weren't even famous until after they died. You know, too late to pay them then. Duh. So, I want you to think about that, and, you know, the reason why I brought those things up is, well, she brings them up first, and I am bringing them to this video because you have to think sometimes the things that don't pay much are the things that might affect people the most later. It doesn't necessarily have to be after you die, but it could be something that just affects most people in such a way that even though you didn't get paid a lot to do the job, it really moves a lot of people, and that's powerful. Movement, being able to move people in a way that inspires them to do better or to think better or to take action or something like that. You know, you may have done that job for free, but it's causing a positive ripple effect on today's society. So if where you find yourself in your heart is to be solely within the theater without, you know, going to film or commercials or anything like that, you know, don't feel bad about that. You know, obviously there are other routes that we can take alongside theater. You know, we could work. I know a lot of actors, they do Uber and Lyft because that's money, like right now. Some work at a grocery store, etc., etc. You know, small jobs like that, things you can kind of do with your eyes shut, except don't drive with your eyes shut. That's really stupid. I don't even know why I brought that up. But find a job that you could probably do with your eyes shut because you just finished tech week and you left at 2 o'clock in the morning and you have work at 7 a.m. and you can't call in because you simply can't afford it. you know, or even in film, you know, film, it's like tech week every day when you're doing film. It takes forever to do film. And, you know, and some people, they still have to have a side job along doing film. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you don't have to be just an actor, you know, to say, oh, I made it because I'm just an actor, you know, unless you really did make it and you are an actor, but then you're not just an actor. You are a self-proclaimed actor who has worked very hard, because if you notice, actors are probably the hardest working people you'll ever meet. They have multiple jobs. They're very tired, but they keep going because they know themselves well enough inside to fulfill them no matter what they decide. So some questions that I have created, they're kind of basic questions. I encourage you to either find like a list of questions online. You know, they have all those ridiculous sites that say, oh, what you should ask on your first date or something like that. You know, maybe ask yourself those kinds of questions. Get to know yourself on a really, really, really deep and personal level, as if you're taking yourself out on a date. You know, make sure you respect yourself and all that other kind of good stuff, you know, and maybe take some of these questions that I have here and make extension questions, you know, like those college questions that where they ask one question and then they go, oh, and then it has B, C, D, E, F, G, and, you know, and you're basically extending those thoughts so that you can have a deeper understanding of yourself. And then ask yourself in the last question, you know, when I watch this performance, for me, for example, when I watch that tap dance number between Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling in La La Land, I love that movie. You know, it moved me emotionally because they really were telling a story, not just about the relationship, but about where the story was going, you know, and it was exciting and it was mysterious and it was just like, I have to know more. And their, you know, their chemistry and their easiness about it. It was something so simple, yet so exciting. There were fireworks happening, and that really is something that moves me. Movies like Inception, those mind-bending, mind-twisting movies, you know, anything Agatha Christie is great too. Those movies, like, they just, like, I start shaking when I read a script like that, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. And movies like The Help and The Theory of Everything, those are wonderful films. There's a couple of my favorite ones. And it's because it's kind of event by event sort of a story where things kind of keep happening, but it builds up to this what I call an ultimate moment of clarity, where the audience finally sees the conclusion of the entire masterpiece. And it's just this beautiful, serene scene that you're at peace with the acceptance of how things have happened, but it can also make you think a little bit, either one, how to act or to act at all. You know, things like that really makes you think. So those are some of the things that really move me, that make me realize I would absolutely love to be in theater, particularly musical theater. That's just where my heart is. I get emotional when I see performances that just, you know, it's heart-wrenching. And I would love to do musical films, you know, musical films like La La Land, Mary Poppins, all those. They just, I don't know what it is. It really moves me, and it moves me in a way where I will sit there and I'll watch on the screen and I'll just go, like, in my head, I'll just say to myself, I want to do that. That's where I belong. I need to be there. That's where I should have been this weekend. You know, so find those things, and once you have a clear goal about where it is that you want to go, find out how to get there. And I don't want to say something like, oh, figure it out and then do it, and then just do it, because I know there's a lot of factors in life that tend to hold us back. I think that should be worded as, prioritize it. Have it in your head. If there is something that's standing in your way, you have to ask yourself, is this standing in the way of my goal? Can I push it aside? Or is it pushing me back? Because I need to be moving forward to reach that goal. That's the kind of mindset that you have to have. It's going to take time, and there will be obstacles along the way, I assure you. But you have to push yourself through. You got to push just as hard as those obstacles are, or those obstacles are going to continue standing in your way. So, with that said, everybody, good luck. Anybody that's watching, today, tomorrow, or 5 years from now when this channel gets discovered somehow, if ever, write in the comments below maybe some stuff that you have discovered about yourself, and maybe some of your goals, maybe have a friendly discussion with other actors and things like that about goals that you have, and there's nothing wrong with just staying in film, or just staying in theater, or going to film and returning to theater, or, going into film and never going back to theater, like anything like that. There's a million options out there. There's a lot of jobs, and there's a lot of actors. That means there's a lot of roads. You just gotta clear the way and keep going. I will see you guys next week for Chapter 3.